Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Okay, so just a little tip. If you're in the bar and you happen to overhear somebody else's conversation, no matter how crazy it is, how funny it is, or whatever, don't go up to that person, start asking questions about whatever they're talking about. Because not only is it rude and just straight up annoying, but you have alcohol involved, right? And so after Brady, finished talking to Tate, he's clearly had a lot. Now, I heard back in the day that Brady was kind of a bad boy. I saw the fight between Brady and I think EJ. And that dude got a temper, right? And we get to sit there and see that temper today when I guess the waiter or whatever was walking up and says something like, "Oh, so I guess this is like your home away from home or whatever." And he practically was like, "Isn't it like? Hasn't anyone ever tell you it's not polite to sit there and eavesdrop on somebody's conversation?" Now again, we have alcohol involved. Everything is magnified, right? So if he was sober, he would have been annoyed. Alcohol version of Brady was ready to check this dude, and but I'm not sitting there saying like it should necessarily get to that level. I understood why he did that, right? And he practically said he was like, don't really eavesdrop on my conversation. He was like, well, you're in a bar or whatever. It's like, I don't give a damn if I'm in Grand Central. Like, I mean, that's what he said, but I'm like, just in general, it's like, I don't care where I am. Don't eavesdrop on my goddamn conversation. So he walks away and he's like, jerk. Now, at that point, I'm like, bro, listen, whatever happens, that's on you. Okay? Because not only did you eavesdrop on this man's conversation, but then you start practically talking under your breath as you're walking away like a bitch. Okay, I'm sorry. I just that's the only way I can sit there and describe that. That was literally a bitch move right there. So he says that he walks away, and Brady's like, "Oh hell no!" He's like, "No, no, no. If you're gonna sit there and say something like that, say it to my face." Now, Fiona, was not there, I guess, texting him or whatever, or he texted her, and after, for some odd reason, and I do not understand, they're having apple cider or whatever, and she decides to get the good stuff. Like they're not gonna smell it on her breath, but whatever. They're celebrating or whatever, toasting and everything. She heads over to the bar, sees what's going on, and she kind of just moves things over and just kind of stops him from practically whooping that bartender's ass at that point. Um, Now they're drinking and stuff, and she invites him back over after she tells him about him missing the meeting. Now, okay, I get it. Sarah wants to sit there and make him a better man, the love and everything like that. Blah 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 blah. You don't need to sit there and try to constantly improve every single thing that he says and he does, right? So he's annoyed that that Brady missed a meeting. And he's like, what's going on? Like I couldn't be there on my first day, and I trusted him to sit there and do his job, and he was a no show. And he said a couple of comments or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, don't be mean." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, okay." So you're telling me if a nurse decided to just call out last minute, whatever, you're telling me you're not going to be a little annoyed or whatever? I mean, okay, I mean, yeah, I guess she's a doctor. My point is that you don't need to sit there and check them on every single little thing. Like if the roles were reversed and she was chief of staff and she was kind of annoyed that one of her nurses didn't show up, and he sat there like, "Oh, come on, don't be mean." I'm pretty sure she'd be kind of annoyed. But that's part of my issue with Sarah. Just the constant nagging. Jesus Christ. Anyway, um, she gets over there. Maggie's just a Horton cabin. So they can't find a key for some odd reason. Well, they can't find a key because Holly never gave it back. And so Sarah decides to go by herself. The owner is driving because Brady, he's just out of it. So they're driving, and for some odd reason, she keeps looking at Brady like, oh, yeah, I guess I can't sit there and let you drive. And I'm just like, I know she has some drinks. She seemed like she was able to drive. So it wasn't so much like she was swerving or anything like that. She was just being stupid. Like, I'm like, have you never driven a vehicle before in your life? I know she lives in a different part of the country, whatever, and maybe they drive on the right hand side, but the rules are pretty much the same. You don't look at whatever's over there or over there, and you keep driving. So she kept looking at Brady, and Sarah, looked like she might have got hit by a car, or maybe she swerved it out the way at the last minute. Who knows? So that's going on. Holly wants to get it in, right? And Tate's like, what's going on or whatever, and he starts to go along with it, and then he stops it. He's like, okay, let's talk about this for a half minute. And eventually, Holly brings up like, oh, Sophia was right. I was like, you listen. First of all, you listen to Sophia, so you already screwed up by definition. And Tate's like, let's not do this right now because I don't want our first time to be tainted pretty much by her during our first time. So they decide to not go there. Also, Tate was sent there talking to Brady. Um, Nothing super important. I guess they won't be going to Horton cabin. Now, you got Chad, Jack, and Jane Doe, and Kayla. Now, before they go and see Kayla, whatever the chick's name is that I can't remember, or Jane Doe, taste the coffee and it tasted like, well, crap, right? And so Kayla's like, let's we'll do the test or whatever. It'll take about like an hour or two. 2 hours? But put a rush on it. 2 hours? So she's like, I want to get some food. I want to get some real food, not whatever they're serving. So Chad's like, okay, I got an idea. You thinking that they're gonna go to the Brady pub or something like that? No, they go to DeMaro's place, and this is all to get her to maybe see if she remembers something. And then it just gets to a point where it's like it gets kind of annoying. Like he keeps bringing up these, the shiny item or the painting, and keep bringing up Abigail's name. It's like, well, Abigail was never afraid to, step up to Stefano, or Abigail really liked this picture, or Abigail really liked this food, and it's like, then afterwards she's like, I'm sorry for sitting there pressuring you, but I was like, you're not sorry because you keep doing it. Like, honestly, to tell you the truth, she could have totally freaked out by the simple fact that you bring her over there. Um, you know, because not that long ago, she was like, I don't want to, like, she doesn't want them to get their hopes up. And she feels like it's a lot of pressure on her to be like, okay, hopefully I'm Abigail or whatever. Because I don't want to sit there and get let your hopes up or whatever. So then you take her to the place to try to get her to remember some stuff that she may not remember. And you don't think that that's putting pressure on her? Meanwhile, Jack is telling Kayla that, talk to JJ. JJ think that this whole thing is a ruse. Talk to Jennifer. Jennifer is being very skeptic. She doesn't want to sit there and believe. And, Jack is like, listen, if it turns out that it's not her, we're going to have to grieve her all over again. Just it is what it is. That's actually for the most part. This episode was okay. For me, probably the bar scene was probably the best part. Though I'm like, don't start eavesdropping on people's conversations, especially when they drunk, and then have the audacity to sit there and call him a name as you're walking away. Like, I don't know if Brady would sit there and take that if he's sober, let alone drunk. Anyway, I feel like that's about it for the most part. If I forgot anything, you know what to do. Either write it down in the comment section or come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll talk about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and the Beautiful and Young and the Restless. And with that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video.